This weirdo, creepy guy sure loves his private islands.
But you see that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. But you see that sucker over there?
That's a fast guy, especially if there's children on that particular island that a lot of people just don't want you talking about anymore, as of course we're going to talk about it that much more, as right now we have Congresswoman Paulina Luna saying some really interesting things about the failed Epstein disclosures, as well as the deletion and destruction of evidence that she personally uncovered that highlights how we're probably never going to get anything from here. She says, don't worry, the files are coming. Are they? As of course now, the battle is within the court system and the judicial system, as Congress soon might be voting on Thomas Massey's petition. Will it actually work? What will happen? As now a famous author who interviewed Jeffrey Epstein before his demise and has made very salacious claims against Donald Trump is suing Donald Trump after Donald Trump threatened to sue him. Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz also kind of say the quiet part out loud of what all of us are kind of thinking surrounding this saga. And we're going to talk about all of this in this particular video. We got a lot of clips to play. We got a lot of analysis to go into since there's so much important information for the story of the decade that I've been following for like 15 plus years, more than a decade. And I've been carefully paying attention to almost every little detail released here, as the insight you're going to get here, you're probably not going to get anywhere else. If you appreciate these type of videos, subscribe, click the notification button, as we got a lot to get into, as we have this clip saying Epstein was foreign intelligence, Paulina Luna. Yeah, we know that, as this congresswoman has pled to release all the files, that the files are coming. Be patient. Promises made, promises kept, she said, surrounding the Epstein stuff. And now, looking in hindsight, I don't know if he could really say that, as he was asked specifically about, hey, out of all the things you promised disclosures on, which ones did you deliver the most on? And her answer, where Epstein was positioned, was very interesting.
Definitely JFK, definitely UAP, and I'd have to say the other ones are still flushing out. The Jeffrey Epstein stuff obviously is still coming. What's interesting?
It's still coming. Really? Where? When? Because like the last thing we got is nothing. We're getting behind the scenes weird maneuvers that Thomas Massey is reporting on, specifically with his discharge petition, where he's saying, okay, let's release the files. Let's put this to a vote. Let's vote. Let's see where members of Congress stand on this, and let's actually force a vote and release the documents. This administration is working behind the scenes to stifle, destroy, and stop all of those efforts, as there's even a theory right now going around. The main reason why Congress isn't in right now and actually acting and doing stuff when they have a Republican majority is because of this one particular issue. Why is that? As I think we are getting a better, bigger kind of perspective here, especially with some of the allegations that Michael Wolff is making. We'll get into some of those very salacious, kind of wild, crazy arguments here. But this is when the interviewer should be like, they're coming? Really? When? Because we never got a timeline. All we got was this like weird random DOJ letter released a few months ago saying case closed. It's done. No blackmail operation. Nothing to see here. Epstein absolutely took himself out too. Yeah, you believe that one? And the Santa Claus. You believe in Santa Claus? Now, the DOJ letter didn't talk about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, but they might as well. Like, you don't believe in Santa Claus? Huh? Overwhelming evidence. Believe us. Trust us. Shut up. Go home. Essentially, that's what the DOJ letter said. And I'm like, this is extremely disrespectful to our intelligence. This is extremely disrespectful to anyone paying attention and wanting justice and accountability here. It's also important to note that there was these kind of fake messages from this administration saying, yeah, guys, it's all going to come out. And then Anna Paulina kind of taking a victory lap. And then those documents that came out were old documents that are irrelevant. That's important to note here.
About that is I actually attended a witness testimony to the oversight committee. So it was Democrats.
This is when the victims came forward and were like, yeah, guys, come on. Release the files. Release all of them. There's a lot of lawsuits. A lot of these very extremely powerful people are destroying the lives of people, saying, "Oh, you're going to say about this? We're gonna make sure we go to court." And these victims are like, "Just release the files, man."
That's Republicans. The Speaker of the House was there, and we have to be careful about how we engage specifically with the witnesses right now, because they have like an open lawsuit right now with one of the banks that they're suing. And so as members, there's certain congressional ethics where you can't be seen to tip the scales on investigations. And we were actually told, because at that point in time, I had asked a specific question about if they knew if intelligence agencies were involved or what foreign countries were involved. And I actually did a posting about that on my Twitter if you want to pull it up and read it. And then also too, if you just type in my Twitter on my Rep Luna account and then Epstein and then foreign intelligence, it might pop up on the search. And then also too, there was another question about if they could name names for people that were potentially being hidden from the American people so that we could subpoena them. And at that point in time, their lead attorney did answer for them, and they said that they'd be compiling a list.
And again, now we're waiting for that list to potentially be revealed here. Will it?
And that they would get it to us. But I actually inquired recently, and we haven't gotten the list yet. So,
we didn't even get the list?
I think that there's a lot to unpack there. But what's also interesting specifically...
Yeah, a lot to unpack. What in the world's going on here? I thought this particular portion was also very important, where she kind of goes into the destruction of evidence. But before talking about that and playing the rest of the clips and playing the kind of Michael Wolff lawsuit that's also going on right now, before getting into all that and a lot more, we wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.shop. Our number one selling product is our Common Sense Creatine wine. It's the cleanest. It's 99.99% pure. It is from Germany. If you have people selling you creatine and they can't tell you where it's coming from, it's probably coming from a weird source. Not always, usually, predominantly, it's coming from the cheaper source where people get a bigger bang for their buck. But a lot of the stuff isn't really pure. A lot of the stuff is kind of contaminated with weird stuff. Ours is not. We made sure to source the best stuff on the market. It's a pain in the butt to get this stuff. We made sure to get it, and we are really selling this really fast. I was just on Twitter. I saw Dr. Rhonda Patrick post this. Creatine hydrochloride supplementation increased, quote, brain creatine levels by 17% in postmenopausal women, leading to a significant 7% improvement in reaction time. Yes. You get a 7% improvement. And people are like, oh, it just gives you muscles. No, the cognitive benefits. Women have a lot less creatine than men do. When women become older, their creatine levels go down. This is how some people explain how they're older women. I'm not saying that happens to all the women, but some of the women are just like a little loopy. Some people believe that supplementing with creatine helps whatever you may call that. All right? Do your own studies. Do your own research. But studies have found, then this is what I've been telling the boys. I'm like, yo, boys, you got a lady in your life? You're an older guy? You have problems with the lady? Listen, make sure, a lot of women dealing with hormonal, crazy, insane changes, right? Lots of women dealing with, like, their brains not acting right. This is not a red pill show, but there's a correlation. There are studies. But the study found that women had fewer mood swings, better lipid profiles compared to women not taking creatine. Yes, you heard that correctly. The studies here are very fascinating, very interesting. The cognitive function of women being improved here. Listen, my mom, my aunt, the women in my life, I'm like, here's some creatine. It's for me, you. And of course, you give people something, they don't appreciate it. I'm gonna call my mom today. You taking that creatine, Mom? We're gonna see. I'll let you know. I'll tune in for the next time I talk about this, and I'll let you know if she is or if she is not. We are change.shop. Check it out. Creatine's amazing. 2-month supply, $53. Thank you for checking our store out and investing in your own personal health. Now, here's Paulina Luna specifically talking about how the files were destroyed by the previous FBI director.
You gain because some of the audience, like, who's actually working on getting to the bottom of this?
Well, I was the only member of Congress doing it. And so I'm going to get into how this has become politicized, which I don't agree with, right? And we'll get into that in a second. But I was the only member of Congress that was like going out there and doing this. And then in around end of February, March timeframe, I actually became aware of a whistleblower who came forward that had alleged that there was destruction of evidence under the former deputy director of the FBI as Trump was coming into office of information pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein and other classified materials.
Now, this whistleblower automatically promote this person. Give him whistleblower protections. Give him FBI protection. 2, research and investigate the claims he's making. If they are legitimate, the former deputy FBI director, if he did destroy Epstein-related evidence, jail. Automatically. Charges now. Now. Immediately. So we're going through a scenario where outside of this, you're protecting these horrible people that have now rigged and gamed the system against you. Why are you doing that? Stop it. It makes no sense at all.
We got the name of the person that was doing it and where it was potentially happening. And I went public with it. I actually filed legislation called
where's Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi, get off Fox News. Get out of the makeup room. Pam, let's go. Let's go. Pam, right here. Dude. Priority number 1. This is it. Right? Outside of it, why isn't it? Why isn't it priority?
The SHRED Act that would actually increase the mandatory minimums for federal officials that were destroying evidence. And you can actually pull this up and pull up the Fox News article. And it actually goes into all of that. Yep. And look at the time date on that. That's March 14th.
March 14th, yeah.
So it's all of the stuff that I've done, I've been able to timestamp it and actually provide receipts to people, because as soon as I announced this task force, people were like, oh, you're a part of the cover up. You know, you have declassification authority. I actually don't.
Yeah. And listen, she's getting a lot of pressure on her, and I appreciate her efforts. And I think overall she's a very net positive person. But there was also a reason why there was a lot of clashing of heads between her and Pam Bondi in the beginning of this year. Why? Because she was calling for transparency and accountability, and she was calling for everything to be released. And Pam Bondi's like, no, slowly roll, homegirl. And listen, I think some of her previous type of tweets were incorrect or misguided, saying, you guys are going to get it. Don't worry. Maybe that's the interpretation and understanding that she had, but honestly, like looking at the way that things unfolded, it doesn't look too good like anything will happen outside of potentially this petition, which may or may not be released to the general public. As author Michael Wolff has come out and has announced that he is now suing Melania Trump after being threatened with lawsuits himself and the Trump administration for talking about the Epstein saga after he interviewed Jeffrey Epstein himself.
Okay, I have an announcement. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Wolff. I've written 4 books about Donald Trump. And also before his death, I extensively interviewed Jeffrey Epstein, not least of all about his relationship with Donald Trump. I've spoken publicly about aspects of those interviews, including the things Epstein said about his relationship with both Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Several days ago, I was notified by lawyers for the First Lady that they intend to sue me for $1 billion for some of those statements.
So he's being threatened to be sued and saying we're probably gonna do it. They haven't officially done it yet. So when you look at a lot of these letters, like, do you want to be in court? Do you want to face this big lawsuit? And a lot of the times, usually, like, no, we don't. I'll back down. Right? That's usually what happens here. This guy's saying, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Now, they've threatened and sued other people for related statements about Melania Trump's relationship with Epstein. These are called slap suits. They may have no hope whatsoever of proving defamation, but these suits are filed anyway, or these suits are threatened to intimidate people from talking about this exact subject. I can't live like that. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I'd like nothing better than to get Donald Trump and Melania Trump under oath in front of a court reporter and actually find out all of the details of their relationship with Epstein. Turning the tables on the Trumps and refusing to acquiesce to them. Last night, my lawyers went into court in New York and asked for a declaratory judgment. In other words, we will have subpoena power to call witnesses and to find out exactly what the relationship between Epstein and the Trumps was.
And again, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of accusations, and a lot of people coming forward saying a whole bunch of different wild stuff. Now, the corporate media, of course, in their fervor, in their hatred for Trump, usually is kind of extrapolating and just, in many instances, making stuff up. And this is why a lot of people don't believe it's reputable, because of just the pure hatred that the corporate media has for Donald Trump. And there is that, where it's very hard to discern truth from fiction anymore because of the overzealousness by the media, by the corporate media specifically, when it comes to their type of approach for Trump.
Now, this is going to be an expensive effort, and I'm going to reach out and for everyone's support. But I think that this is going to be also a very fruitful way to finally open this dark curtain and find out what Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein were doing together.
Now, again, they were associates. Now, this guy, this author, came out before and revealed that, quote, Epstein pulled photos from his safe showing Trump with girls of a certain age, allegedly topless on Trump's lap. This is what he has said previously on an MSNBC show.
But at any rate, at one point, after Trump had been elected, I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump.
Correction, it was Midas Touch, not MSNBC. Apologies for that.
Trump with girls of an uncertain age.
Uncertain age, saying I don't know exactly how old they were.
At Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing
covering their mouths. And,
exactly. And pointing 3 or 4 girls. And those are the ones.
Now, that's a very serious accusations, as of course we have to understand that that has not been independently verified. That is a very serious accusations. And it is important to note here that the evidence from the safe went missing after the FBI's raid on him. And the FBI didn't raid a bunch of other places that Epstein was living in, cohabitating in, owning, doing eugenics operations in. It is also important to note, Jeffrey Epstein was asked by Trump's own DOJ if he had dirt on Trump. He said no. Virginia Roberts was asked if Trump was a shady, bad figure in all of this. She said no. The lawyer's victims came forward and said that Trump was the only one that helped them out with their case against Epstein, right? Now, was there something else happening? Were these people of legal age? Is this a lie? What's really going on here?
I specifically remember. And my assumption is that they were in the safe, and I have seen them on other occasions take them out of the safe. And I think it's certainly not unlikely that they were in the safe when the FBI came in after his arrest and took everything from the house, including everything that was in the safe.
Now, those files went missing. What does that mean? Did they go missing? Did the FBI have them? Did the previous administration? Now this is what I'm thinking about. If this is true, right? Because again, we don't know. I need proof. I need evidence. It's just hearsay at this point. If this is true, and the FBI was in possession of this, right? Why didn't they release it when they were doing everything they could to stop Trump from becoming the next president of the United States? That's one. That makes me question this. 2, all the other stuff, circumstantial stuff that I told you about, exonerating Donald Trump. 3, there is a possibility that for some strange reason, the Biden administration and the FBI and the very powerful people in that type of organization and branch of kind of deep state government did have it, destroyed all the other evidence with everyone else except for Donald Trump, and they left it as this type of like care package. Being like, look, here's the photos. We have the Epstein Files. You become president, we're going to control you through this. You see that country in the Middle East, you're going to bomb it. Got it? You see all the other unpopular policies that you're doing, you're going to keep doing them. All right? You're going to do them? You're going to keep printing money? Oh, Doge and Elon Musk going after the Pentagon? You're not going to allow that. No. The email to the FBI? No, you're not going to allow that either. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're not going to do that. Is that what's going on here? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Because again, now we're all just left to theorize. But hypothetically, let's just play into the world that these photos are real. One, I think they would be automatically used. But maybe they're not. Maybe they're used as the ultimate kind of extortion card. I think that's worth thinking about. What would you think would be the consequences if these things actually get out there to the general public? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Let's start that conversation. I think it's an important one to have. Thank you so much for supporting independent media, supporting us at wearechange.shop, getting our creatine. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.